Welcome back to the Gala Performance MR2 Championship. Now the third encounter of the season sees us here at Rockingham Speedway. It's a combination of fast oval track with a tight, twisty and technical infield section. We've already seen an explosive display of racing this season already, and I can't expect this one to be any different. So let's get straight into the action, and Andy McEwen.
Thanks, Anthony. Here's how the grid looks then. Josh Brooks and Sean Traynor on row 1, ahead of Mick Nichols and Paul Cook. Then it's Ben Rowe and Graham Mailings and Shane Mansbridge and Paul Calloway. Matthew Smith and Chris Thomas round out the top 10, ahead of Tim Herron and Matthew Allen and the rest. And they go on and on and on, all the way down to the 18th row of the grid, because this weekend we're not splitting the grid as we have done at the first two meetings of the year into 3 groups that each race each other once, and it all gets a bit confusing. This weekend, 2 races, 2 full grids of 36 cars, and here we are on board with one of them, Paul Calloway, as the red lights go out and away we go, and Mick Nichols dives down to the inside of the road. What was that all about? Mick Nichols going from the extreme outside of the road right the way down the banking to the inside and nearly wiped out 2 cars in the process. Back on board with Calloway. On the inside goes Chris Thomas, banging wing mirrors already, but I did notice we were 3 abreast for the race lead. That will never work. Paul Cook, the grey and white car in the middle. On the inside is Sean Traynor, on the outside is Josh Brooks, and it's going to be Cook that gets into the corner first, but Traynor that comes out of it first, because Cook outbrakes himself, runs out onto the grass. On board with Neil Stratton now as he tries to make his way through a bit further back. But that was a very, very energetic start. Oh, Cook into the back of Traynor, both sideways. There's cars on the grass everywhere. Calloway we're back on board with. There's a gap in the middle, but it closes. There's more contact. Cook on the outside. Oh, they're banging into each other like dodgems. Someone had to end up onto the grass. And we do indeed have one car spinning around. But my goodness me, that was very, very physical stuff indeed in the opening few quarters. I've quite frankly no idea who came out of that with the race lead. We'll check in with that in a moment. I think it's still Sean Traynor. I think Traynor has managed to hold on to the race lead, but behind him it was utter chaos. No, Josh Cook goes through. So Josh Brooks goes through. So Josh Brooks leads the way. Traynor's second. Up the inside there into third comes Graham Mailings, ahead of Mick Nichols down to 4th. They're 3 abreast again. Look at this. Calloway, Paul Calloway. We chose the right car to put the onboard camera into for this race, didn't we? Look at this. Another one on board now is Shane Mansbridge. 3 abreast through Tarzan will never work, but no one's told the drivers of the Gala Performance Toyota MR2 Championship that. They're still trying it on the exit of the turn. Paul Cook, one of the big losers there, though he's dropped down into 6th position as a result of that when he was running in 2nd place. Back with Calloway as they jostle for position down through the Brook chicane for the first time. It's a 13-minute race plus 1 lap, a 15-minute race plus 1 lap, beg your pardon, for the MR2s. Dicing away with us now, we've got car number 3, Ben Rowe. 3 times a winner this year so far is Ben Rowe, but struggling a little bit for pace this weekend. That could open up the championship hunt, because he arrives here 20 points clear of Tim Herron in the championship. Where's Tim Herron? Tim Herron's even further back. Meanwhile, the dicing is still continuing as now car number 6, Chris Thomas, goes up the inside of Paul Cook and tries to come the inside of Mick Nichols as well. As contact, they went through out wide. Someone else locks up further back. That's not Ben Rowe, is it? Yes, it is. Oh, that's championship leader Ben Rowe off onto the grass, car number 3. They're all throwing themselves at the scenery here, and Ben Rowe is off the road, and he's going to plummet down the order. This is an absolute disaster for the championship leader, whose weekend at Rockingham has gone from bad to worse. Back with Shane Mansbridge now through Chapman Curve, and we've got plenty of jostling going on in front of us. Paul Cook there, the yellow car, weaving this way and that, trying to find a way around Mick Nichols, who got elbowed out of the way down at the Dean hairpin that time around, but they've all managed to come out just about the other side. Back with Calloway now, and then Neil Stratton running further back. Neil Stratton, of course, in car number 36, is running one of the older cars, one of the older Class A cars, the Mark 1 cars, but one of the lead contenders in that class. So car number 6 then, Chris Thomas, getting his elbows out. There's number 46, who we were riding on board with, or we were following for, Matthew Smith. We were riding on board with Paul Calloway, who we ride with once more, coming out of Tarzan. This is the battle for the race lead. It's easy to lose track in this race, isn't it? But it's Josh Brooks that leads the way. It's Sean Traynor, a resurgent Sean Traynor, who's in 2nd place. I knew he didn't dare move away from this battle for too long, because something was bound to kick off. Calloway there, nearly getting into the back of Shane Mansbridge in front of us. And meanwhile, at the front of the field, side by side for 2nd place, and Graham Mailings is going up the inside line here, and the man from Northampton is trying to move his way through into 2nd place, but Sean Traynor's having none of it, carries the speed around the outside. Remember, those Mark 2 MR2s are a little bit quicker in a straight line, but the Mark 3, the convertible versions, the Roadsters are a little bit better through the corners. It all equals itself out over a lap, but that meant that it was difficult really for Graham Mailings to make his way through there. So down through the right hand as they go, and well, we need to catch our breath, I think, after what was a very dramatic opening part of the race. There is Ben Rowe. You catch a glimpse of him there, the black car with the gold stripes, running just ahead of the number 55 machine there, which turns its way through. That's Dave Hemingway. We're on board with Neil Stratton, and we're trying to take what I think is the class lead away from Hemingway. I think these are the top two Class A cars, and as they make their way through Piff Paff and down towards Kirby, the battle could not be much closer here. This is why we love the Gala Performance Toyota MR2 Championship. It's always exciting racing. It's not usually quite as robust as it was in the opening lap, but they seem to have calmed themselves down a tad as we move into the middle portion of the race. Still a three-way fight for the lead though. Graham Mailings again looks at the inside of Sean Trainer, can't do it. Sean Trainer arrives here just 10th in the championship. He's an awfully long way off the championship frontrunners, but with drop scores still to be taken into account as the year goes on, he could yet move his way back into contention. Down towards the Brook chicane they go. Brooks is leading the race. Josh Brooks has had a bit of an up and down season, so he's not really featuring in the championship battle either, nor is Graham Mailings. So all three of these drivers are drivers who really could do with a good result or two here at Rockingham to try and put themselves back into championship contention. It's Chris Thomas leading the next group in fourth. Paul Cook is fifth. Mick Nichols is sixth. No, not Ben Rowe. Who's that running next in line in seventh place? That is that's the 46 car, Matthew Smith. As they head down towards Dean, and Paul Cook looking up the inside there of Chris Thomas and really weaving around on the brake there. The pair of them, but Thomas can't get the car stopped, runs out wide. Cook will try and get alongside now on the run down towards the right-hander at Yenwood, which he does, but that's the wrong side of the road. It's the outside line for the next two corners. He's trying to close the door. Thomas is always going to come back through on the inside line there. They're still side by side as they head up towards the right-hander at Chapman. Meanwhile, Neil Stratton is now dicing away with Adam Lockwood in the number 11 car, and he is going to just about hold on to the place, which I think is second place in class, but Adam Lockwood, no, he comes back at him around the outside, look, through the long right-hander, and into the left-hander at Kirby, and yes, through he goes, so Lockwood will make the place up. Two-time an MR2 champion is Adam Lockwood in Mark 1 machinery. And, he is wanting to try and add to that tally in 2018. Needing three go through. Paul Cook is ahead of Thomas, so he did manage to make that move stick. Thomas has now got Mick Nichols not far behind. Then you've got Matthew Smith dicing away with Shane Mansbridge. Mansbridge around the outside line, runs out of road on the dirty side of the road though, so up the inside of him will go Paul Calloway. Can Paul make the move stick though? Mansbridge uses a bit more straight line speed down the school straight in towards the Brook chicane. They almost lean on each other. Calloway has to dive out of the way, but Mansbridge loses the rear of the car, bounces over the curb, through the grass, through the gravel, just about avoids spinning, but he's going to lose that place and lose a couple more as well, I fear, as he rejoins the circuit, or maybe just one more. Shane Mansbridge will be a bit frustrated. No, there we are. Two cars do go through. Tim Heron there, car number 5. Now that's strange, so we haven't seen much of Tim yet. Tim finally got his first ever MR2 win last time out at Mallory Park since we last covered the championship at the season opener at Brands Hatch. They've had 3 races at Mallory Park, one won by Paul Cook, one by Tim Heron and one by Ben Rowe, and that win for Tim Heron was his first ever win in the championship despite all these years of trying. He came so close at Brands Hatch, then got tangled up in the back marker on the last lap of one of the races, if you remember, and well, this weekend he's not quite got race winning pace, it would seem at the moment, at least he's trying to fight his way up through the field. 77 there is Thomas Mailings. That is son of Graham Mailings, who's of course running inside the podium positions at the moment, outright. Shane Mansbridge as he tries to recover from that grassy moment at the end of the previous lap. Heads in towards Kirby once again. Now he should in theory be quicker than these cars because he did out-qualify them. So Tim Heron in the distance there, getting hit squirrely in the darker of the blue cars. These are all Class B cars, all Mark II machines, so not much to choose between them. It's 2 Mark II machines that are now stretching their legs at the front of the field. Josh Brooks and Sean Trainer pulling away slightly from Graham Mailings in 3rd, who in turn I reckon is being caught by Paul Cook in 5th. Then it's Thomas, Nichols and Smith next in line, ahead of 92 Paul Calloway, then Tim Heron, and then this dice going on, and it's the number 8 car, isn't it, of Darren Aldworth, who's trying to fend off the recovering Shane Mansbridge. And then Thomas Mailings behind in number 77 is not far back either. Down onto the brakes at the Brook chicane. Turn left, clip the curb. Turn right, clip the curb. can see Shane trying to set himself up here for the better exit onto the straight, which he does. He gets to power down a bit early, gets on the inside line. I think he's going to get past Darren Oldworth this time around. Back with the Mark 1 cars, and it is still, by the looks of it, Dave Hemingway leading the class, but Adam Lockwood's not far behind him now, look, as they turn onto the pit straight, and Neil Stratton is also in attendance here. As they go along the start-finish line once again, this is the fight for class honours, remember. The Mark 1 cars sometimes get a bit forgotten with all of the action at the front of the field, so we're doing our best to try and check in with them in this race. Dicing going on here now. This is Ben Rowe recovering from his grassy moment down at Dean in the early stages, and he's nearly onto the tail of the Tim Heron train. But he's first of all going to try and clamber over the curbs and then find a way past. I think that's Matthew Allen, possibly from 65 in front of him. Mansbridge through Kirby, Piff Paff, then Kirby, avoid the barrier. Hard on the brakes, and he dives on the inside here. Maybe he's going to think about it, goes to the inside of Darren Oldworth, but as long as you clip the second apex there, you're okay. Although Oldworth did miss both apexes, that's why Mansbridge carries a bit more speed out of the corner, gets in the toe up towards Gracelands. Thomas Mailings is close enough to take advantage if this all goes pear-shaped in front of him, but it looks as though there's no doubt that Mansbridge is the quicker of the two here, but he's finally alongside, and it's the outside line down towards Tarzan. Hard on the brakes. Will this allow Thomas Mailings to get up the inside of him? I wonder. I think it might do. Whether Thomas can complete the manoeuvre is another matter. Out onto the school straight they go. Mansbridge still hanging on. It's great racing, this. To Tarzan. I think they'll probably come out of this in the same order as Tim Heron. Far ahead of Paul Calloway. Leading Class C cars in this race. Ray Mailings is leading Class C for the Roadsters, the Mark 3 cars. Calloway is running well within that class. There's Ben Rowe. He has now finally managed to gain that position, so he's now going to try and bridge the gap to the cars in front. It was indeed the 65 car of Matthew Allen that he's overtaken. Doubt that Allen will come back at him down into Dean. Looking at what Ben Rowe's worst finishes of the season have been so far. He was a winner and a podium finisher at Brands Hatch, and a winner and a second place at Mallory as well, so this will, needless to say, become one of his drop scores anyway, so I suppose in a way it doesn't really matter what happens in this race. Obviously he'll try and get as far up the order as he can, but if it's going to be one of his drop scores anyway, it's not really worth throwing everything at this. Instead focus on race number 2 later on. Mick Nichols there up over the curb through Piff Paff, as he was dicing away with somebody. Matthew Smith, I think that was, he was trying to find a way past. Mansbridge though was still stuck behind Chris Thomas. This is getting ever more frustrating for Mansbridge because he knows he's quicker, he just can't quite prise that door open. Here's this battle I was on about before. It was indeed Matthew Smith that was just in front of Mick Nichols, but Mick looks the quicker of the two. Just come out of Gracelands down towards Tarzan. There's an inviting gap on the inside, which he's going to go for. I think Mick Nichols late on the brakes. Matthew Smith turned in though. I'm not sure whether that one worked out or not. Mansbridge there nearly into the back of Darren Oldworth's car now. Out of Tarzan, still Oldworth hangs on. Dicing going on all the way up and down the order there. There's Gary Patterson defending from Andrew Ruthven. They shared the 9th row of the grid together as the leaders come through onto what may be the penultimate lap of the race now, I think, with Josh Brooks still leading the way from Sean Trainer. Typically in MR2 racing, it's not a massive lead that is enjoyed by Josh Brooks. Down in towards the Tarzan hairpin, he runs a bit wide, and Trainer, well, there we go, the gap comes down even further now. Trainer closing in, back marker in front, gets out of the way nicely though, that's good to see. Sean Trainer really desperately wants that first win of the season. Of course, Josh Cook is also looking for his first win of the season. Josh Brooks, excuse me. And Brooks hanging on here, but can he hold on to the flag? Mansbridge, meanwhile, still is stuck behind the brake car of Darren Oldworth. They go up in towards the right-hander at Chapman curve, and Oldworth drifts a bit wide, and Mansbridge might finally have got the gap on the inside line. But then again, typically the next corner's a left-hander, and he's just not going to be able to get through. What about down at Kirby, though? He's carrying more speed over the crest there, looks to the inside line. Oldworth is late on the brakes, though, moves over to cover. Mansbridge gets sideways, always gets into the back of him. He's nuzzling up the inside, but there's still no way through. Darren Oldworth will not relinquish the race lead, or the position, I beg your pardon. This is the battle for the race lead, and Sean Trainer could not be any closer to the back of Josh Brooks' car as they come out of Tarzan and down towards the Brook chicane. There's at least one more lap to go after this one, so there is time yet for Trainer to find a way through. So they turn into the chicane now. Trainer a car's length behind as they flick it back out onto the pit straight. And Brooks, well, he's not quite as quick off the corner. Trainer's in the slipstream, and Josh is going to have to get down to the inside line to defend, you'd imagine here. Last lap board, by the looks of it, is being held out. So one more time around the Rockingham International Super Sports Car long circuit here for Josh Brooks and Sean Trainer, both looking for the first win of the season. Sean Trainer has had a second place earlier on this season, but Brooks has only had a third place finish. So Brooks already on for his best finish for the year. He's really late on the brakes down towards the Dean hairpin. Can he stop the car? Oh no! Josh Brooks straight onto the grass. He throws away the race lead. I don't believe it. That was just the pressure telling from Sean Trainer, who was all over him down towards the hairpin, and Brooks ran out wide onto the grass, and not only will he lose the lead, he's going to fall well out of the podium positions. So Sean Trainer, that was beautiful racing there from Trainer though, because there was not a hint of contact. He didn't even really pull alongside. He just applied the pressure and kept applying the pressure until the driver in front made a mistake. And as of course, as you get further on into the race, the pressure builds anyway. The last thing you want to do is leave the door open or brake a bit too early on the final lap and allow the other car through. And I think that's what was going through Brooks's mind then. He did not want to brake too early and leave the door open, so he braked as late as he dared. But it's so hard to find a braking reference into the Dean hairpin because it's so wide and there are no real landmarks there to take notice of. So yeah, that was dramatic stuff there for Josh Brooks. Unfortunately, he throws away what looked as though not a certain race victory, but a certain top two. He throws it all away. Down towards the Brooks chicane then comes Sean Trainer for the final time. Paul Cook, by the way, has found a way ahead of Graham Mailings for second place. So it's going to be a Class B 1-2, and it is going to be Sean Trainer, who for the first time in 2018 will see the checkered flag to win race number 1 here at Rockingham in the Gala Performance Toyota MR2 Championship. Trainer is back to the top of the podium. It's been a long time coming, but the former champion is back to winning ways. Paul Cook is second, Graham Mailings third, Josh Brooks recovered to fourth, with Chris Thomas fifth, Mick Nichols next ahead of Matthew Smith, Tim Herron, Darren Aldworth and Ben Rowe recovered to 10th after that early off. Then it's Matthew Allen. Paul Calloway is next in line ahead of Thomas Mailings and Aaron Bowman Smith, then Shane Mansbridge and Gary Patterson, Matthew Rowe and Andrew Ruthven. The Mark 1 battle, by the way, was won in the end by Dave Hemingway. He finished down in 19th place overall. Neil Stratton was second, and Daniel Bryan came through to third. Tim Tracy, Adrian Barnes, Daniel Farmer, Philip O'Halloran and Neil Hurren were all non-finishers after what was a sensational race.
Well, Sean, firstly, congratulations. It was some race, but you got a feel for Josh.
Yeah, okay, you've got a feel for it. You know, he drove really well, really well. I don't know if he was watching his mirrors a bit. He said he broke it exactly the same place and it just didn't stop. So, but it's hard on the brakes out there, so maybe he just overheated them. And there was a few times I thought I was going to go a bit deep myself, but it was the same points as he went deep, so we were staying together. And I was sort of also keeping a bit of an eye on my mirror because I had Graham all over me for the first probably 3 or 4 laps. And then we sort of made a bit of a break, and then I kept looking in the mirror, and then I see Cookie had got past him, so then I thought to just keep it together because I knew how fast he was going to be.
Well, Paul, it was a perfect slingshot manoeuvre to get you into third place, and then you inherited second. Good race from your point of view.
Yeah, a really enjoyable race. I kind of first lap, I got the jump on the first and the guys in front of me, and come to the first corner, and I think I just outbroke myself and then went back in the pack a little bit to about 7th, and then worked hard from there.
Well, Graham, third on the podium, first in class. What a race that was.
Yeah, it was great. I think at the start I probably had the legs on the 2 in front, but they were so close that I just couldn't pull a move off. I think they were holding themselves up. I missed a gear, and then that created the break, and it went a bit it weren't so good after that. I'm a sitting duck on the straight. That's my problem. In the roadsters, you're quick through the infield, but if you've got a Mark 2 on your back, you're going down the straight. I'm in 5th gear before I take that first corner. 5th gear is a nothing gear, and I'm a sitting duck at the end of the straight. So that's where Sean did me. That's where Paul did me.